Next on Worcester News Tonight, 6 Worcester police officers are headed to Puerto Rico to help with hurricane recovery efforts. Plus, a local restaurant is raising money through a new initiative called the Spice Bucket Challenge. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. Just 2 days before the deadline for cities hoping to host Amazon's new second headquarters, Worcester releases their official proposal. The 60-page document was discussed at Tuesday night's City Council meeting. It provides information about the city, the many colleges in the area, as well as the site the city would make available for Amazon's facility. The land is approximately 98 acres of land along Route 20. Worcester is prepared to offer Amazon a list of incentives, including up to $500 million in local real estate tax savings, 100% personal property tax exemptions over 20 years, $1 million in job creation grant funds, as well as other funding based on how many jobs the company creates. Amazon is looking to site a second North American headquarters, which would bring along 50,000 new jobs over an unspecified period of time. Well, with more than 500 miles of road needing plowing and treatment when it snows, Worcester is looking to increase the rate it pays contracted snowplow drivers and sanders. The city's DPW says the proposed hourly pay increase is needed to maintain an adequate fleet of plows and sanders in the city.
So this year we're looking at 3 classifications, and they're really the smallest equipment, the pickup truck size and little mini dump truck size equipment. We last adjusted those rates in 2014, so we felt that that's the class that was necessary for this year. So for the most part, $5 per hour, the snow equipment gets paid per hour.
DPW says their goal is to have streets return to safe and drivable conditions as quickly as possible after a storm. Current rates range from $60 an hour to $130. The city says the plows are vital to running a successful winter program, and they have to keep up with competing communities nearby. Well, a local restaurant creates a new challenge to help raise money for children battling cancer. Tuesday, Nancy Chang's in Worcester unveiled its Spice Bucket Challenge. Dozens filled the restaurant to give it a try, including a few public officials here in Central Mass. Our Cam Jandro now joins us live with those details. Cam?
Anna, daredevils and foodies can put their taste buds to the test with this brand new hot pot, and the reviews are in. It's hot.
You've heard of the Ice Bucket Challenge, but what about the Spice Bucket Challenge?
I think we're going to see a lot of people eating spicy food and turning bright red.
Nancy Chang's restaurant is teaming up with Why Me and Sherry's House, helping to raise money for local families fighting childhood cancer. For owner Ignatius Chang, it's about giving back to the community who has given so much to him.
This city over 20 years, and the community support me very much. So I like to give back to the community.
Now, for every brave soul willing to take on the Spice Bucket Challenge, $10 will be donated to Why Me and Sherry's House. Can you take the heat?
Worcester County Sheriff Lou Evangelitis could, but for another public official, not so much.
We'll find out how much I can handle tonight, I'm afraid. I think we'll figure that out.
Do you think you can handle the heat?
No, not well. No. I'll roll over right now. I like a mild, I like a medium. I'm here for the event and to helpfully raise a little money for Sherry's House. Why me, you know?
Tuesday, the restaurant donated $1,000 to Why Me and Sherry's House. Executive Director David Hagan says the challenge is a unique way to raise funds.
We have to raise our annual operating every year, so to partner with local area businesses to help us out with our annual operating for the benefit of the families, that's huge for us.
Now, Chang says his goal is to raise $1,000 a week for the first month. And I'll tell you what, Anna, it even smelled hot. Do you think you can handle it?
I think so. It was a little hot, but it's for charity, so we'll see. Thanks, Cam. Well, 6 Worcester police officers are headed to Puerto Rico, joining other officers across Massachusetts, helping with hurricane relief. Many of the officers have family on the island and are hoping to help in any way they can. Our Rosalind Flaherty spoke with the officers today and has the story. Worcester police officer David Rojas is anxious to get to Puerto Rico and help out.
I hurt for them, obviously, but it makes me feel good that I can have the opportunity to go there and at least do something.
Officers who have family on the island will help with recovery efforts. 4 are set to leave Wednesday. 2 others will go to Puerto Rico when they return.
Obviously, we're nervous for them. We don't know what they don't know what they're getting into. We don't know what they're getting into, but it's a huge sense of pride.
When you see your local administration saying, we got you, you know, what you can do, we're going to go down. We're going to work with the officers hand in hand.
The officers say they are not sure what exactly their role will be, but say they are willing to assist any way they can.
Partnering us up with local police officers from the island and going out and doing 12-hour tours, patrolling.
Officer Danny Diaz's dad lives in Puerto Rico. He says it's hard to communicate with him.
He says that a lot of flooding. It's the prices for water and a bag of ice now is up to $3 just for a bag of ice. Gas is difficult to get.
He's hoping to see his dad and says he asked the officer if he could bring batteries.
He told me they can't find D batteries. He said can't find them anywhere on the island, so that's what he's asking me for. I'll bring him some D batteries.
Officer Rojas lived in Puerto Rico until he was 3 years old, and a majority of his family still lives there. He says as long as he can do something, it will give him peace.
The people who are living through it are going through far more worse than I will be.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office identifying the man found dead after a standoff in Leominster. According to the DA's office, 33-year-old Sean Hill was the man found in his home on Eden Glen Street Monday. Police say he barricaded himself inside the house after a civil warrant was issued. At one point, Hill set the house on fire. After about 3 hours, police entered the house where they found Hill dead. Authorities have not released how he died. Well, in Sutton, residents voting against the idea of building a new library. Residents voted Monday night on whether or not to continue the conversation about funding the library. The vote was 371 to 312 against the more than $11 million needed to build it. Opponents say the tax burden would be too much since the town just received a new police station. Meanwhile, voters in favor said the town would benefit from a bigger library. Westborough residents passed a zoning article Monday night allowing the installation of lights at the high school's turf field. But some residents say they're concerned about the project. Our Catherine Andrioli has the story.
The lights at Westborough High School are temporary now, but there could soon be permanent ones after residents overwhelmingly passed a zoning article Monday night.
In the middle of next fall, we'll have 2 new turf fields, new track, new bleachers, press box, walkways, and lights.
The project will break ground in June of 2018, but some neighbors are not happy. Amy Cucci lives nearby and says she has many concerns.
Every year we get a notice from the town that says that they're going to do the week of lights. One thing I noticed on the notice that we got this year is that they were going to increase police presence because of the issues that happened last year.
Cucci says neighbors are also worried about increased traffic, noise levels, and the potential negative impact on resale value of homes.
Have a young family, 9 o'clock at night game going on that's loud, and it is loud, is going to be a problem. It's going to decrease values of our houses.
High school principal Brian Callahan says they're addressing those concerns.
Surveyed the town and built into the project are some adjustments. We'll be setting some guidelines for use of the lights.
The temporary lights this week are part of a yearly tradition. Callahan says it's allowed working parents to watch their kids' games and believes installing lights will improve attendance overall.
Parents are able to come to games, attend some night contests that otherwise, with their busy schedules and work schedules, aren't able to make a 3:30 or 4 o'clock game.
But Cucci and others hope the lights don't take away from Westborough's quiet and historic charm.
I don't really see the benefit to the cost ratio, to the potential negatives that we're going to have in the town.
In Westborough, Catherine Andrioli, Worcester News Tonight.
Worcester State University holding their annual Candace Allen Scholl Memorial Lecture Tuesday. This year's speaker was a Worcester County judge who started the Recovery Court. Our Brittany Schaefer was at Worcester State today and has more.
Scola was a Worcester University student when she was murdered in 2002. Her family says she had issues with domestic violence with her husband. Now today, the speaker says the link between domestic violence and substance abuse is one reason why he started the Worcester Recovery Court. 15 years after the murder of Candace Allen Scola, her alma mater remembers her with annual lectures.
We honor her every year with a lecture usually during the month of October, which is National Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Scola had filed for divorce from her estranged husband before her death. To this day, no one has been arrested in connection to her murder.
Typical job description for my job is to live in a reactive.
Tuesday, Judge Michael Allard-Medow spoke to hundreds at Worcester State University about the connection between domestic violence and substance abuse.
The fuel of domestic violence, the tinder, is dysfunction, is chaos. And there's nothing that will wreak chaos like substance abuse.
Allard-Medow says 87% of domestic violence occurs when one or both parties are using drugs or alcohol. It is a part of why he started the Worcester Recovery Court.
There's nothing like taking somebody that has the terminal disease of substance abuse disorder and seeing them recover. Nothing.
Instead of administering addicts into the court system, the Recovery Court aims to get them treatment.
It's rigorous. We're following the National Association of Drug Court Professional model. It has been a very gratifying exercise, I think, for those of us in this end of the business.
Organizers of the event say it was a powerful message students needed to hear.
Oftentimes treats drug addiction as this sort of moral failing that falls on the individual alone, and he was trying to explain, and I think very effectively, that this is a disease.
There are other alternatives, even here in Worcester, that to just take somebody who's suffering from addiction and locking that person up.
Now, Allard-Medow says the Recovery Court started in 2015. So far, the program has had one graduate, but he expects to have 6 or 7 more by January. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester.